Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Jai Krishna. Jai. Shri Radha Girdhari Bhagwan ki Jai. Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Mai ki Jai. Shri Giri Govardhan ki Jai. Shri Rukmini Dwarkadish Bhagwan ki Jai. Jai Shri Sitaram Lakshman Bhakt Hanuman ki Jai. Jai Shri Laddu Gopal ki Jai. Shri Giri Govardhan ki Jai. Shri Krishna Balaram ki Jai. Jai Shri Nitai Gaur Chandra Premanande Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees Hare Krishna. All glories to the lotus feet of Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga ki Jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Srila Gurudev ki Jai. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Mahavishnu Goswamiti Namine. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Prasarine. Nirvishesha Shundavadi Pashatya Desarine. Hare Krishna. So, welcome everyone today to our program, and we're discussing, continuing from last week's discussion on Saṃsāra-cakra. We are continuing today and discussing Saṃsāra-cakra palāyana. Palāyana meaning what? What does palāyana mean?
Run away.
Run away, run away. Yes, run away. Yes, that's quite true. It also it also means to escape.
Yes, yes, Puruji.
So um, main thing is that do not ever think that one is able to stop the cycle of birth and death. This is a continuous cycle. It's an eternal cycle. Unlimited living beings are engaged in this cycle of birth and death. Unlimited living beings. And it is also foolish to think that only in this universe people are caught up in the cycle of birth and death. There are unlimited universes. And this one universe is unlimited for us. There's unlimited universes. So, by the extreme college mercy of Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada, we'll discuss this further. So, everyone remembers what we were discussing. Please, if most of you can show yourself, that'll be best. Sanjeev Prabhu is at work, so that's all right. Now, continuing our last week's discussion, if you remember, that's great. If you don't remember, then you miss out on the fun. Because we are going to have some more fun today. One thing with King Yayāti, ordinary living beings of this Kali Yuga, if they are engaged in this kind of material activities, unlimited wealth, he was the king of the emperor of the whole earth, unparalleled kingdom. That's what Krishna was instructing Arjuna, that if you fight this war and defeat these people, your enemies, you'll become the king of the whole earth, and that will be unrivaled kingdom which you'll find now, which you'll be enjoying as compared to the heavenly planets, kingdom of Indra. So this was his kingdom, Yayati's kingdom. But because he is no ordinary living being, that's why his pastimes are mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. And not this rascals who are nowadays of people who are engaged in materialistic activities. Our pastimes are not mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. So what happens is that King Yayati, as Shukdev Goswami continues in his narration, Shukdev Goswami says that, O Maharaj Parikshit, Yayati was very much attached to women. He was attached to his wife and his maid servants and all the women, because there are thousands of them. In due course of time, however, when disgusted with sexual enjoyment and its bad effects, this is interesting, he renounced this way of life, narrated the following story to his beloved wife. So, what we do not understand is this, that there are very bad effects of unrestrained sexual relationship and physical activity. You'll be surprised to know, because many of us are not exposed to such kind of things. But here I remember I was listening to a radio interview, and our talkback host was talking about this from young age, when men and women, boys and girls, are engaged in sex. What is the effect in the older age and middle age? So I remember one person called up, and she was saying that she sounded like a middle-aged person, and she said that from the young age, like 15, 16, she was sexually active, and she was suffering at this middle age. You see, now at the age of about 30, 35, and one is in vigor, one is in full consciousness, and one has to execute one's devotional activities, also one's material activities too, to enjoy material prosperity. These people are suffering. That we do not understand. But we see from outside, we say, oh, I'm missing out. They are enjoying more. That's not the case. Clever people, I always say this, Prabhupada says this, that there are one kind of people who learn from, others' mistakes. They are called clever people. And there are those who don't even understand from other people's mistakes. They want to do it themselves. They are third class people. See, a thief and a bandit knows if you do thieving, you'll be put to jail if you're caught. But still they will do it. They're third class people. Although they may be very clever in fooling people although. But the first topmost class of people are those who learn from others' mistakes. This is best. To learn from others' mistake is free of cost. What you require is just being smart. Quietly watch the whole world around and you will learn from everybody. That's why you say there are unlimited gurus. Gurus can teach you from unlimited ways. You should know the art of knowing and learning. So that is what Srila Prabhupada has started his mission, to pick up first class people, Brahmanas. Okay. So when he understood this is not right, there's so much sexual enjoyment with indiscriminate. So he understood the bad effects of this like sex life also, and that's why he renounced everything. This is interesting. He could renounce it. And he narrated a particular story to his wife. And we will listen to that story. So he is telling his wife, my dear, beloved, my lovely wife, daughter of Sukrashari, Devyani, in this world, he said, there was someone exactly like me. Please listen to me as I narrate the history of that person's life. So, by hearing about this life of such a householder, those who have retired from household life, they lament hearing this story of this person. Those who renounce, they hear about it, say, oh my God, such kind of people are there, So there is a point. So let us hear this story. He says, so what happened is that one day in the forest, while wandering in the forest to satisfy his senses, eating and all that, a goat, no goat, bakri, a he-goat was wandering in the forest, enjoying food and everything, Wherever the food goes, food takes him, he goes. We have got people like this, wherever money takes, they go, they go behind the money. They are goats. They may turn out to be very clever, but they are not very clever. They are goats. So this he-goat is wandering in the forest, and he goes, and by chance he comes across a well. In the well, he pokes down and says, let me drink water. He was eating and all that, so I'll drink water. He goes down to drink water, and what does he see? Not Devyani. He sees a she-goat standing in the well inside, helplessly, having fallen into the well by the influence of the results of her fruitive activities, karmas. She was there. So everything happens to us is because of our karmas and actions. Krishna can stop it, so don't blame anybody else. Of course, there are people who disturb you and all, so we can protect ourselves. That's another thing. But unknowingly, please do not blame other people for what's happening to you. So this goat was in the well, and she was there because of providence, her fruitive activities. So she was looking at him very intently. So Prabhupada mentions here that when the king Yayāti delivered Devyani from the well, she felt great relief, and she requested Yayāti to accept her as his wife. You understand this? The holding of the hand and the background music came, ting, 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 and then and sing, then oh my God, and how love happens, and then all those things happen, So But anyway, we also discussed about how the Vedic way of life is that you hold the woman hand means you should, So anyway, that was the point. So then she felt great relief and requested Yayāti to accept her as his wife. But when Maharaj Yayāti accepted Devyani, he became too attached to her and had sex life not only with her but with others also. Completely gone. Like we know about Sharmishta, we have the story about Sharmishta too. Yet, still he was dissatisfied with so much. There was no satisfaction. That is the point. That is the reason why one should forcefully retire from one's family life at a certain age. Just like Yayāti. So when one is fully convinced of the degrading nature of worldly family life, one should completely renounce this way of life, take sannyas, and engage himself in the full service of the Lord. Then one's life will be successful. This is heavy stuff. So we are all at different ages of life. So it's up to us. So we must go to the forest and become goat then. But be very careful not to find another she-goat there, But the sannyas is not for women. It's only for men. Okay. So then she's saying, please help me. She's down. Please help me. So after planning how to get this she-goat out of the well, the lusty he-goat dug up the earth from around the well, with the edge point of his horns. Very laborious task he was digging out. In such a way that she was able to climb out of the well very easily. Now this is a very simple thing, right? But no, there's instruction here also. Just like we saw instruction in the previous verse, but how did she-goat fell into the well? It's her karma. Don't blame anybody else. Similarly, now this guy is, he-goat, he-man, he-goat. He took his horn, pointed horn, and he's digging out. And she pulled, and she could easily come out nicely. Come up. Now just see. Digging up the earth to make way for the she-goat was a very laborious task. Is it not so? He didn't even have a shovel. He had to use his horns. But before accepting she-goat, the he-goat underwent this labor. This is very interesting. Is it not so? She never committed anything. He did not say, but he wants to become he-man. How foolish men are. Just seeing her eyes are like this, please help me finish. This guy is a he-man. He'll try to do everything, So women are basically more clever than men to that extent. Although they require shelter, but they're more clever. They can take care of themselves very well. So even without asking him, without committing anything from her side, this guy committed everything and he put his head and she could come out like a queen. She was already the queen. So when the she-goat, who had very nice hips, now we think that goat, we don't even like to look at the goats, he-goat or she-goat, just wanders around. But for a goat, for a he-goat, she-goat is very beautiful. And for a she-goat, he-goat is very beautiful. Just like, and they will not consider human beings. They say, what human beings? It looks all bad, all look like the same, like monkeys, And we think the goats don't look very, very good. So they're the same way, We call themselves fools, they call us fools, What are they wearing all these clothes on their body? I don't understand, I think they are not very good looking. That's why they wear clothes. They were thinking like this, So when the she-goat, who had very nice hips, came out of the well, saw the very handsome he-goat. So he-goat was very handsome. She desired at this point in time, after he committed everything, hard labor, she desired to accept him as her husband. Now she starts to think. Not before that. She was taking out work from him like a servant, boss. So when she did, many other she-goats also desired him as the husband. Because our he-goat had a very beautiful bodily structure, very nice muscular body. He had a very nice beard and very nice mustache. There are goats even as human beings. Do you know this? Yeah, that's why they wear this goatee beard. The human beings also want to become like goats. That's why they have. See, this kind of beard, mustache, and beard is called goatee. That's all they call goatee. And when I heard for the first time, I said, I don't want to wear this kind of mustache. I want to be called a goatee for a goat. So this is how it is. So there are such kind of goatees even in human beings. So now then, when they were very very impressed by what was this he-goat, and all the other she-goats also were very impressed, and they were jealous of the one she-goat which come out from the well. So therefore, just like a person who's haunted by ghosts exhibits madness, the best of the he-goats, attracted by this many she-goats, engaged in erotic activities and naturally forgot his real business of self-realization. You see? So if there are best of men, they call it best of men when somebody is very, very good and powerful, or best of men. Similarly, or best of goats, or he-goat is the best of goats. You see, materialists are certainly very much attracted to only sexual intercourse. Yan maithunadi gruhmedi sukham hi tuchham. Prahlad Maharaj instructs this verse. Prabhupada said this verse and said, Hak thu. He spit on this. Yad maithunadi gruhmedi sukham hi tuchham. Thu. So this is how tuchham means bad. This is how materialists are engaged only in this. They don't know anything else. There's no question of sense control. There is no question of looking for liberation from the life of birth and death. So such lusty materialists are like goats. For it is said that if goat is meant to go to slaughter, if he gets a chance, they will have sex. And don't think human beings are exactly like the same thing. Human beings are exactly the same way. I remember there's a real life incident where there was a set of Jews who were being killed by the Nazis. Okay, I think they made a movie also of it. It was a listed movie, and these Jews had to run away from their villages, small village, to a forest inside, and the Nazis came. Okay, and they had to be inside the forest. One of them became the leader who went there first, the Jews. So he said, all you men and women, you are here, young and old people, make sure women don't get pregnant. That means don't match up here. We are in life and death situation here. So don't make love and all those things. Right now, don't look for love. He said this. But human beings are also like goats only, They are worried about, they're running away from Jews, left away everything inside the forest, living in the forest under the trees, but still they found their match. I love you, love me, started there also. And they got pregnant. They had to run away. Some woman got pregnant. So don't think this goat is just goat. It's human beings also like the same. It's a mentality. You see? The foolish people we are, number one. We may be doctors, lawyers, engineers, prime minister, presidents, but it's got no value. They're goats. Even before getting slaughtered, we'll go and have sex. Let me have sex before I die, we'll think. We'll give big philosophy like this, Let me enjoy. Foolish people. So when the she-goat who had fallen into the well, by now, because this he-goat, he was surrounded by all other women, she-goat who had won the well, then her friends and all that. So he was very enjoying. He's having sex with everybody without discrimination. So when the she-goat who had fallen into the well saw her beloved goat engaged in various sexual affairs with other she-goats, she could not tolerate these he-goat's activities. Sheer enough. So aggrieved by her husband's behavior with another, the she-goats thought the she-goat thought that this he-goat was not actually her friend, but was a hard-hearted and was her friend only for the time being. That's how she thought, rascal. Therefore, because her husband was lusty, she left him and returned to the former maintainer. Yayāti Maharaj is giving the story to Devyani. Now, being very sorry, this he-goat, who was subservient, handpicked to his wife, Anugata Strinaihi is Sanskrit word for it. Anugata means following, Strinaihi, handpicked. So following her, he ran behind her on the road, and tried his best to convince and flatter her. Please don't go. With such beautiful moon-like face, this, all those things, Don't go. It's a mistake. I'll not do it again. But he could not pacify her. She had it, So that's it for me. I'm out of here. You're not my friend anymore. You're a friend only for the time being. So she went to the residence of a brahmana. The brahmana had maintained her before, a priest. Who was a maintainer of another she-goat. So the brahmana was a maintainer of the she-goat also, another she-goat. And that brahmana became very angry at this he-goat. He said, "What have you done to my she-goat? You've broken her heart. I curse you." And he said, "Now I will remove your masculinity. You will not be able to have sex with anybody else." So that's how the he-goat was speechless. He said, "What do I do now? Please don't do this. Please don't do this. I will not do it again. And think about your she-goat. She also wants to enjoy me. How will she enjoy?" And she-goat told the brahmana, "What have you done? He's my husband. Even I wanted to enjoy." You see? He said, "Oh, yeah, my God." We discussed that with anger. One doesn't know discrimination. We thought about that. Yeah. So Brahmana thought, "Oh, yes. So with mystic yoga, he said, "Okay, I'll give you your masculinity back. You can again have sex." You see? So here, the family affairs of Shukracharya and that of Yayāti are very similar. Shukra means semen. So he was actually Acharya through semen. Means by birth. Shukracharya. The Shukracharya first cursed Yayāti to become old, so he could no longer indulge in sex. But when Shukracharya saw that Yayati's emasculation would make his own daughter a victim of punishment, he used his mystic power to restore Yayati's masculinity. Because he used his power of mystic yoga for family affairs and not to realize the Supreme Personality of Godhead, this exercise of magic of yoga was no better than the affairs of he-goats and she-goats. You see? So Shukracharya also used it in a very wrong way, such a great personality. For protecting his daughter, he used his mystic power. There is no better than. Prabhupada writes this. So yogic power should properly be used to realize the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, as the Lord Himself says in the Bhagavad Gita. Yogi nam api sarvesham madgate dantaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yo mam same yukta tamo mataha 647. So of all yogis, Krishna says, he who always abides in me with great faith, worshipping me in transcendental loving service, is most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. Okay. So now, my dear wife, the he-goat, Yayāti continues, the he-goat got his masculinity back. He enjoyed the she-goat whom he had taken out from the well. But although he continued continued to enjoy her for many, many years, even now, he has not been fully satisfied. I can very safely say there are very few people in this world who are like King Yayāti. Most of them, they want to indiscriminately enjoy, men or women, whoever they are. They are not satisfied, but still they want to do it. Punaha punaha charvita charvarana nam. The father knows that if a child is born, gets married, has sex, has children, becomes old, dies, his child comes, gets married, has sex, dies, but still he would want the child to do the same. Prabhupada says this. What is the use? Punaha punaha charvita charvana nam. Punaha punaha, again and again. Charvitara, same activities which you are doing, you want to do again. Chewing the chewed. Just like, the sugar cane, in India we see this very easily. The sugar cane, sugar cane juice people, they've got the sugar cane which goes into the thing. So the sugar cane juice has come out. Coming from that, the juice comes out. There is no more juice in the sugar cane left, But still, people will want to eat the sugar cane. You have goats, they throw to the goats. The goats will eat the sugar cane. Punah punah charvita charanana. So like this, the goat was not satisfied at all. And then he says, "Oh my beautiful wife with beautiful eyebrows." He glorified her eyebrows. I am exactly like that he-goat. For I am poor in intelligence, that I am captivated by your beauty and have forgotten the real task of self-realization. So it is like this. Many of you will be getting married. Of course you should get married. Of course you will have enjoyed. So you must have. We have done it. Nothing wrong with it. But at the same time, we should know what is the ultimate aim of life. If we lose the vision, then it is our own pitfall. So those who are joining this movement young, you are actually very, very fortunate. Very, very fortunate that you're getting this information at a younger age. So that your future plan is mapped out. There's so much amount of enjoyment I have to do. Along with that, I must do this also. If you're not, you are completely lost. What to do, we don't know. Others just enjoy, don't enjoy. Like we used to have friends, they just talk about enjoyment all the time. And what is this enjoyment? We didn't even, after that we came to Prabhupada and we found the proper way. But we have to search out our ways. But for you have been given in your hands. So you're very, very fortunate. Very, very fortunate, all of you. Those who are younger and doing this. So don't think you should not. You must have everything. Only then you'll enjoy. Those who are very, very fortunate will not get married or not have a relationship. But they're very rare. But it then unnecessarily they may create situation, So better to get married, enjoy and suffer, and then say, no, enough of it, Baba. No more. Both ways. Boys and girls, men and women. When I met Guru Maharaj, the first thing only Maharaj told me was that we wasted so much time, Ambarish. Maharaj told me. Maharaj came for prasad at our home. And others know, I've mentioned this many times to the devotees. And I was sitting at the lotus feet of Maharaj. I was sitting on my sofa there, and Maharaj recollecting. Maharaj said, 40 years, I did not know about Prabhupada. After that, I got to know Prabhupada. 40 years wasted. Maharaj said this. And there was little tears coming from eyes, That he felt so intense. 40 years wasted. And he controlled things, Maharaj controlled it. And don't think Maharaj was wasting 40 years. Maharaj had been reading Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, at least Bhagavad Gita, throughout from his younger age. To teach Bhagavad Gita, to teach his family, everybody. But still Maharaj said, 40 years wasted without Prabhupada. So, a person who is lusty cannot satisfy his mind, even if he has enough of everything in this world. including food, food grains, gold, assets, women. Nothing can satisfy him when he's lusty. Mahatma Gandhi would say this, is saying. Mahatma Gandhi would say that even God can satisfy everyone's needs, but not one person's greed. Srila Gurudev would say this. It's so nice. Remember this. So, even God can satisfy everyone's needs, but not one person's greed. Because greed is unlimitless. No matter how much you do, it won't. And lust, attachment, false ego, suddenly it will come. Till the time we don't have anything, we are happy, not attachment. But when we have even little something, it goes in our head, man. Please be careful. Very, very careful. Very, very, very careful. Especially when we see some success in our life, in our endeavors. Be very careful. Enjoy your success drop by drop. Don't drink the whole thing. You'll vomit out. You won't be able to digest it. And don't ever think that those who are successful, so-called materially very rich people, prosperous people, they are always very happy like this. They are not. They are suffering all the time. Do you know this famous musician? Who's that woman from Britain? Those girls, 5 girls. What do they call it? Singers. What is her name?
Spice Girls.
Yes, Spice Girls. Yes, that's right. Spice Girls. So who's the Spice Girl, the singer now? There now, who had a difficulty with her father?
That much I don't know, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
LB or something.
Sorry?
LB, is it?
No, they're very famous, man.
No, the one of the members.
Yeah, the girl who had difficulty with her father, she won the case against the father now. So father could.
That's Britney Spears.
Yes, Britney Spears. Yeah, that's right. Britney Spears. That's what I thought. How come you guys don't remember Britney Spears? Not that I am very concentrated on Bhagavatam. I just forgot the name. So Britney Spears, she used to pay money to people, his friends and all, to come and sleep in her home. Not with her, but in her home. She was so lonely. She became, after becoming the Spice Girls and all that. She was not Spice Girls, Britney Spears. I think she was Spice Girls. Am I mistaken?
Yeah, she wasn't.
Okay, Britney Spears, sorry, excuse me. She had to pay. She would pay money like this for people to come and stay. This was her position. So much. And when Michael Jackson died of drug overdose or whatever it is, he was alone. Just imagine this. There's nothing wrong to die alone. One can die alone if one has practiced himself to live alone with Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and Krishna. Otherwise, death is very painful when you're surrounded by people all the time. Fake people. So a person who is lusty cannot satisfy his mind even if he has enough of everything in this world, including food, gold, assets, women. Nothing can satisfy him. So, as supplying butter to the fire does not diminish the fire, but instead increases it more and more. Similarly, if we do not, the endeavors to stop lusty desires by continuing sense enjoyment can never be successful. It's so beautiful. It's a different way of saying this, Very nicely it is mentioned. If you want to douse fire, well, don't put butter in the fire. Stop butter. The fire will go away. Similarly, if you want to really stop this lusty engagement, then you must stop those activities at least after a certain age. If not, then the age will stop you. See, one may have enough money and enough resources to satisfy the senses, but still not be satisfied. For the endeavor to stop lusty desires by enjoying can never be successful. One has to stop that. Always remember this. It's a very simple statement, but I found it very powerful, this particular verse. Very powerful. Na jatu kamah kamanam upabhogena samyati havisha Krishna vartmeva bhuya evabhi vardhate. So Krishna Vartma is called fire. So don't put unnecessarily. If you want to stop, then don't put anything more in it. Similarly, if some situation is disturbing you, agitating you, don't go there. The problem is solved. Don't keep going there again and again. The problem is solved. Similarly, if you make somebody whom you hate live in your head, that person will keep in your head and keep hating you. If you hate somebody, if somebody hates you, don't allow the person to live in your head. It's an art, it's a science, but it is called control. Otherwise that person will live rent free in your head and work against you. Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj says this. Why allowing somebody to live rent free? Take some rent, no man. Or kick him out. No rent. Forget about it. Get out of here. You see? So this is how best way to control anything is just not go there at all. Don't visit there. Still you will be disturbed. So imagine if you are there, how much more disturbance will be there? Out of sight, out of mind. Best. So when a person is non-envious and does not desire ill fortune for anyone, he is equipoised. For such a person, all directions appear happy. Now remember one thing, I'll repeat this again. It's a very important statement. When a man is non-envious and does not desire ill fortune for everyone, is equipoised. Now how can we be equipoised and does not desire ill fortune for our enemy also? How? Even if you don't consider somebody your enemy, that person may consider you to be your enemy. How do you solve this? And how do you become like this, equipoised, where you don't think ill about somebody else? It's not momentarily thinking and then again starting to talk about ill about the person. It's genuinely feeling. And for this person, all directions appear to be very happy. How do you solve this? Same way, if somebody or something is disturbing you, just don't go there. Don't take your mind there. Simple. And over a period of time, it will not affect you. Chant Hare Krishna, it will not affect you. Then you will have well-wishing, good for everybody. Those who remember me, all glories to them. Those who remember me, those who don't remember me, all glories to them. No problem. This is a big problem-solving situation. Common sense. Uncommon. It's an art. It's an art. Common sense is very uncommon. See, Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur, he says, Vishwam Purna Sukhayate. So when one becomes Krishna conscious by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, for him, the entire world appears happy. He has nothing for which to hanker. This is the Brahmabhuta stage. Hankering stops. Hankering meaning what? We perform actions with the result in mind and hanker for the result to come. So the result doesn't come, we are sad. Result comes, we are happy. So Krishna consciousness meaning what? We have the right to perform actions, but results are not in your hand, which is a fact. Is it not so? You may train yourself to work very well, write your examinations, but how much marks you will get, you don't know. That is where results give it to Krishna. Na sochati na kamshati. For those who are too attached to material enjoyment, sense gratification is very difficult to give up. Even when one is an invalid in old age, one cannot give up such desires for sense gratification. Therefore, one who actually desires happiness must give up such unsatisfied desires, which are the cause of all tribulations. See, this is Yayāti Maharaj informing and instructing his wife these things. See, even if a person is old, his body will not respond. Still, he will have sexual desires. I'm telling you. Boy or girl, man or woman, both are the same. Here we're talking about the men part. So don't think somebody is old so he doesn't have desire. No. When uncontrolled, when material enjoyment is not controlled, sense gratification will always be there. It'll manifest in some way or the other. It'll manifest. Especially girls and women should be very careful. Don't unnecessarily go to people and all that. No touching business, Be very, very careful. Even in ISKCON, we have got so much bad situation going on with big sannyasis touching young girls and boys, Complete nonsense is going on. In any society, not in ISKCON, any society. Catholicism, Islam, everywhere. Hinduism. So we have to be very careful. Very careful. Don't think world is like us. And that is the reason why the next point is very important. Make a note. It is very similar to what Manu Samhita is mentioning. Where also Manu mentions this point. And also this is mentioned by who's the great politician? Chanakya. This particular verse, see, very beautiful. Matra svarsa duhitrava naivivikta sano bhavet balavan indriya gramo vidvamsam api karshati. Listen very carefully, especially to men, both women also. One should not allow oneself to sit on the same seat, even with one's own mother, sister, or daughter. For the senses are so strong that even though one is very advanced in knowledge, he may be attracted by sex. King Yayāti is mentioning this point. So even both way, men should be careful and women should also be careful. Don't take anything for granted like this. You'll suffer. See, learning the etiquette, how to deal with men and women, does not free one from sexual attraction. This is the fact. This whole world is revolving around this point only. And especially for brahmacharis and sannyasis, they should not be staying alone with women. No way. They should not be staying alone. Be with women. They're doing it. Secretary women living in the same house. This is not good. Please. They are leaders of the society. They should be away. It's forbidden. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his female devotees could not come close to him. He would not allow. Once what happened was, I remember this incident. I used to do mantra meditation programs, So this is for people who don't know Krishna and don't want to know about Krishna. They don't care. They want to run away. So I would do indirect preaching, So every so often I used to have women, ladies in the program, and only women in the program. And there'll be about one woman, I'm alone, a few women and I'm alone. So I remember I would say, I'm keeping the door open. No problem, I would tell them, I'm keeping the door open. It was not locked, it's fully open. Some of them say, no, I'm okay and all that, but I would still keep it open, Anything can happen. You be very careful. So like this I used to do. And during that time, end of the year, I went to India, to India. So I met Maharaj. I said, Maharaj, this is what I do, when sometimes only women are there for my program. So I keep the door open. And there's a big distance between us. So just in case, So Maharaj said this, responded in a very different way, the opposite way. Maharaj said, yes, it is for our own safety, Ambrish. Don't think it is for the safety of women, rascal. It is for our good. It's for our good. Actually, I had inquired, from people who were living here. I said, is it okay if only women come in the program or one woman comes in the program? Is it not legally? He said, no, that's okay. It's not a problem in New Zealand. I said, okay, all right. Right. So, then he says, Maharaj Yayāti, that I have spent a full 1,000 years enjoying sense gratification, yet my desire to enjoy such pleasure increases daily. And it is a problem, man. It's not reducing, it is increasing daily. So that's why he says from personal experience how strong are sexual desires even in old age. This is what we learn from this point. Therefore, he says, I shall now give up all these desires and meditate upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead from the dualities of the mental concoction, and free from false prestige, I shall wander in the forest with the animals. You see, here, he's talking about he wants to give up sense enjoyment. Now, one who has enjoyed it for so long, how can he give up so easily? That question comes in our mind. Is it not so? I think it is answered in the next coming verses. And one has to go to the forest. He said, I'll go to the forest and I'll wander with the animals. Now, where forest you will go now? Animal will kill you and eat you. or the government will come and say, what are you doing in the forest, man? You're not allowed to go in the forest. Stay in your home. It's true. There are people who actually live off the grid. And they just go to the forest, in the reserves and all that. They don't live in the houses. They live in the grid of the forest. They can't live in the house. So the government catch them and put them in houses. And they run away back into the forest. This is a fact. It happens in New Zealand, in America, everywhere it happens. In India, they become sannyasis and all that. There's no concept of sannyasi, but they just get fed up. They can't live. So here, it is a mention of Vrindavan. The one means forest of Vrindavan. But if one is not sufficiently purified, one should not live there. Otherwise, it will create chaos there, man. You will take the mind with you. Unpurified mind. Unnecessarily. And like monkeys and hogs and dogs will do their own same business. There are people doing like this. There's another point, what happened was that when Maharaj were in London, stayed in, he stayed in London for many years, 30 years, something like that, Family is still in London there, Very well-to-do family. So when he accepted sannyas, he suddenly came on the road, no money. Sannyasis can't have. So he lived in, after Balsar in Gujarat. Then from there, Maharaj went to Dwarka. So in Dwarka, Maharaj saw that there is one particular street, where nobody comes and goes. So he put a tent there and lived on the road. Not everybody can do that. So when some of the disciples would go to Maharaj, and Maharaj would say, that there are so many sannyasis here in Dwarka, they come, renouncing everything, but their mind is not purified. They carry the mind with them. You will see them floating. So some disciples, I remember Devaki Prabhu mentioning this point, So he said that when he went to Gomti, there's a river, beautiful, very auspicious river like Ganga, Gomti, Yamuna, Gomti. So they went to Gomti to take a bath. Maharaj was not there. The disciples went there. And they saw one sannyasi there, He had a radio with him. And the radio was blaring, dum, 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 going on, and news was coming and all that. So they remembered Maharaj's word, What said this? The sannyasis, they'll give up everything, but they carry their mind. So even here they'll come and they'll not be clear. The senses are not purified. They're attached still with material things. So they went and asked this sannyasi, why are you listening to, what is this? He said, radio. Why are you listening to radio? He said, there are news, one should know what's going on in the world. Just see, if he has renounced the world, what is the need to know about the world? So when they laughed, they came back to Maharaj and said, Maharaj, what happened? Maharaj laughed. You see, I told you. So we have to be very, very careful of being devotees and of being sannyasis or vanaprasthas and all that, Very, very careful. So a very easy process has been given to us. One should follow the principles of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and always think of Krishna in full Krishna consciousness. Then one will be eligible to live in Vrindavan and his life will be successful. And what is Vrindavan meaning? Remembrance of Krishna. You can create Vrindavan. Of course, Vrindavan is Vrindavan, don't get me wrong. But here, when we remember Krishna and his pastimes, is it not Vrindavan? Srila Prabhupada created Vrindavan everywhere in the world, not only in the temples around the world, but every congregation, every center, big and small preaching places, wherever you discuss about Krishna, that's it. There's Vrindavan. So one who knows the material happiness, whether good or bad, in this life or next, on this planet or the heavenly planets, everything is temporary and useless. And that an intelligent person should not try to enjoy or even think of such things, is a knower of the self. Such a self-realized person knows quite well the material happiness is the very cause of continued material existence and forgetfulness of one's own constitutional position. So the moment you start to hanker for material happiness, you are bound to be stuck in the cycle of repeated birth and death. So Sukadeva Goswami said, after saying this, King Yayāti, talking to his wife Devyani, King Yayāti, who is now free from all material desires, called his youngest son Puru and returned Puru his youth in exchange for his own old age. He could do that. He's such a powerful personality. How can I do? Here I'm giving my youth and old age. We can't do it. But he could do it. King Yayāti then gave away the whole earth in different directions to his children. He enthroned his youngest son Puru. He was the youngest son, but he made him the emperor of the whole world and made his elder brothers work under him. He left his kingdom this way. Just see. Remember I told you material attachment made sukrashari give instruction to Yayāti that don't have sex with Sharmishta ever. When he got his daughter married, Devyani to her. But still he got begetted children. And it is this child, youngest of Sarmishta, who became the emperor, not Shukracharya's children, grandchildren. This is called destiny. This is called destiny. Now, is this not a grand, today's world, which you watch this soap operas and all that thing, very complicated? Is this not the way? It is so beautifully done. This is a destiny. So many things we can learn. The great personality like Shukracharya, he is the guru of the demons. When he could not control, he wanted to control it. We discussed controlling it. He wanted to control it. He couldn't control it. Now, at the end, his grandchildren who were seniors to Puru were working under him. They were not the kings. And then becomes Puru's dynasty will follow, the great. So then, having enjoyed sense gratification for many, many years, O King Parikshit, Yayāti, who was accustomed to it, sense enjoyment, I cannot do without my bed. I have to have 5 times meals. It has to be, in that meal also you should have some roti, some chapati, some sweet, some salty, some all those things. Dal should be there like this, it should be kept in this way. But he gave it up entirely in a moment. Just as a bird flies away from the nest as soon as the wings have grown. This is Srimad Bhagavatam. Tell me, what do you understand about this? It is so beautiful analogy. Yayāti, King Yayāti, was so accustomed to sense enjoyment for thousands of years. His 1,000 years are enjoyed. Still he gave it up in 1 minute. In a moment he gave up. Just like a bird flies away from the nest as soon as he grows the wings. That means what? For so many months, sometimes even a year or so, small birds are living in the nest, dependent upon their father and mother for the food. As soon as the wing comes, they fly off. Goodbye. They will not even say goodbye. This is how we also can be detached if we want to. This is something we should learn. Many years ago, this was narrated to us by one of the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, Suhata Swami. Now he's no more. So he had said that Prabhupada were giving a class, I don't know whether in Europe or America. He said at the time there were only Westerners in the club, in the temple. So one Indian gentleman came as a guest. He was listening to Srila Prabhupada's class, and he was talking to Prabhupada. He said that he was humble to Prabhupada, but at the same time he was trying to forcefully make a point. Not forcefully making a point. He said, Swamiji, he said, all these Westerners, young boys and girls, white boys and girls, they have become pious because of their samskaras, past samskaras of past life. Prabhupada said, no. They became devotees because of me. He said, but Swamiji, samskaras from many past births must be there, Takes a lot of time. Samskaras. Said, what takes time, Prabhupada says? Samskaras can change in a moment. These boys and girls, they used to have illicit sex all the time. They used to drink. They were born drinking alcohol. Their parents would drink alcohol. The hippies, they would eat meat. They didn't even take baths properly. Now they are devotees. Samskaras can change in a moment. So here is a point. King Yayāti changed in a moment and he left. You see? So this is how great acharyas who have got mastery and understanding Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, They can answer important questions with Shastra in mind. At least what we can do is become sincere students of those acharyas and remember these incidents. Keep it in our heart. And when we come across this kind of instances, we can remember, yes, this is the reason why Prabhupada said this. Because King Yayāti he completely surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. He was freed from all contamination of the material modes of nature. Because of this self-realization, he was able to fix his mind upon the transcendence, it's Parabrahman, Vasudeva, and thus ultimately achieved the position of an associate of the Lord. This is very significant. So Bhagavatam also mentions where he went, what kind of liberation he got. This is called Swarup Siddhi, our original constitutional position. Each and every one of us have an identity in the spiritual world in our relationship with Krishna. The process of reviving that identity is Krishna consciousness. That is the definition of Krishna consciousness. So as soon as one is freed from the dirt of material contamination, as Maharaj Yayāti he was freed. One's original position as an associate of the Lord is revealed. Nobody can tell you, it's revealed in your heart. This is called Swarup Siddhi or personal perfection. So when you go to Mayapur, Vrindavan, and all the Babajis will come and say, I will give you a mantra by which you know your original position. Good. Still with Prabhupada, it will be revealed. Chant sincerely. Prabhupada said, first you must deserve before you desire. We all want to desire without deserving it. So deserve first and then desire. That point. So with this then, Devyani, she heard Maharaj Yayāti's story of the HeGoat and SheGoat. She understood the story was funny. It was presented in a very funny joke for entertainment by her husband, between husband and wife. But it was intended to awaken her and her constitutional position also. So therefore, Devyani, the daughter of Shukracharya, understood the materialistic association of the husband, friends, relatives are like association of hotel full of tourists. Now you tell me, Bhagavatam, which is written 5,000 years ago, before that it was spoken, how do they talk about tourists? There are words mentioned there of tourists in Sanskrit. Translation is like this, that therefore Devyani, the daughter of Shukracharya, understood that the materialistic association of husband, friends, and relatives are like the association of in a hotel full of tourists. The relationships of society, friendship, love are created by Maya of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, exactly as in a dream. By the grace of Krishna, Devyani gave up her imaginary position in the material world. Completely fixing her mind upon Krishna, she achieved liberation from the gross and subtle bodies. And then she glorified Krishna, saying, O Lord Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you are the creator of the entire cosmic manifestation. You live as a super soul in everyone's heart. I'm reading it because I like one sentence very much, so I don't want to miss that. So I'll repeat again. O Lord Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you are the creator of the entire cosmic manifestation. You live as a super soul in everyone's heart and are smaller than the smallest. Yet you are greater than the greatest and are all pervading. You appear completely silent, having nothing to do. But this is due to your all-pervading nature and your fullness in all opulences. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto you. So Krishna is a silent spectator. He constantly talks to us if we care to listen to him. Otherwise, he's just silent. If he's not needed, he'll keep silent. Similarly, we should also not speak when we are not needed to speak. It's a great art to keep quiet when we have to keep quiet. Well, this is how King Yayāti broke his cycle of birth and death. Palāyana. Now I want to talk to you about palāyana. Saṃsāra-cakra palāyana. Escape. This word and this escape is spoken by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says that Trividham narakeshyedam dvaram nasham atmanah kamaha krodhas tata lobhas tasmadeta trayam tajet. So here it is said that there are 3 gates leading to this hell. What are the 3 gates? Everyone has got these gates: lust, anger, and greed. Every sane man should give these up, for they lead to a degradation of the soul. Okay? So these are the 3 gates of which leads us to hell: lust, anger, and greed. One must give these up. Krishna says further, Eter vimukta kaunteya tamodvares tribhir naraha acharayati atmanah shreyas tatoyati param gatim. Says the man who has escaped these 3 gates of hell, O son of Kunti, what does he do? One has escaped it. He performs acts conducive for self-realization and thus gradually attain the supreme destination. This is exactly what Maharaj Yayāti achieved. So one who has escaped this gate, one cannot conquer them. One cannot conquer these 3 gates. One has to escape from there. Chatak jana. They are full of ignorance. What do they do after that? They start actions which are conducive to then go back to their main destination of being an associate of Krishna, being with him, attaining Sarvasiddhi. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. This is what I realized from this. I just thought last week when we spoke, there was a lot of inquisitiveness from people and a lot of interaction came through. What happens next? Will he achieve liberation? And I wanted to make sure that Yayāti, King Yayāti, is no ordinary person. But through his personal example, he showed. That's why I said that when who asked the question, Swami asked the question, that how is he qualified person but still fallen? So by example, he's showing us. And here he said, don't become like me. Okay. Anyone wants to say anything, please feel free. This is so perfect, that when King Yayāti is mentioning about the goat story, and when the she-goat runs away, they're being disgusted with him to his, Brahmana's place, So the Sanskrit is a lie, and he's going behind him, With wagging his tail, please don't go, like a hand-pecked husband. So this very nicely, there's a word being used. I'll read this words, He says, so api chanugatah strainaha. So chanugata means following SheGoat. Strainaha means hand-pecked. So api chanuro chanugatah strainaha krupanastam prasaditum kurvan idavida karan nasaknoti pathi sandhitum. Now idavida karam. Idavida is what? Idavida karam means what? Idavida karam means that uttering in the language of the goats. So he's speaking in the language of goats, the he-goat, trying to convince the SheGoat, don't go. I found it very interesting. So I said, I must remember this verse to say to you people, Underline this. Idavida karam. So when a goat is speaking, what language do they speak? Idavida. Hare Krishna. Yes. I think we picked up some points also here, some realization points. Of course, last long weekend in New Zealand was harassed. I harassed everybody to write down, because the Saturday they have the pitching program, Sunday we got my program, Monday they have to write down what point was the most important point. So tomorrow I'm not going to say anything for writing. At least we may share now here, So I know there are many points where we found out, about this instruction continuing from last week. But can you name one which stood out for you as an instruction, if at all, if you feel like, or which will remain in your mind? Unless you have some questions to ask, we can have that first. If you want to share something, realization, you can say that first.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Bol. But your voice is not, you switched off, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Hare Bol. Hare Bol.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for a very nice class. It was very entertaining as well. So actually, the last point that you mentioned, actually, you referred to the Srimad Bhagavatam verse where it is said that the 3 gates to the hell, there's anger, lust, and greed. So where you mentioned that we cannot conquer these gates, one has to escape it. So I was thinking about that point, what that actually meant, because I think we also studied this verse in Nectar of Instruction, Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, Jiva Vegam, Udara Upastha Vegam, Etana Vegana, Yo Visheta Diraha, Sarvam Apimam, the Prithvita Shishat. So in that verse, actually that's the instruction for to actually, one has to actually learn to control the desires of, or actually the senses, and the anger and their demands. So here, actually, what is that escaping means? Do we just actually mean, is that mean that we try not to actually control, rather we engage our some senses somewhere else? That means escaping? Or we actually leave the situation?
Okay. Good question. I was laughing because of the answer, which I'm going to give. Sorry, don't get me wrong. You see, there is a saying. So not every battle is worth fighting. You know this? Every battle is not worth fighting. Second saying is that if you throw stones at every dog who's barking at you, you'll never achieve your destination. Right? Similarly here, if you're going to fight greed, lust, they stem from the 3 modes of material nature. Mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. And it is impossible to conquer the three modes of material nature. The duality of the world is always going to happen, be existing, right? So Maharishi Goswami Maharaj says that don't take this to heart. Don't take material world to heart. Just take it as a joke and finish it off. Finish it off. So these problems are eternal problems. But at least we know these are the problems. People don't even know this. They are victims of it. Moment you know that these are the problems, you're not a victim of the problem. You understand what I'm trying to say? You can escape being a victim of the problem, become a bystander. So instead of fighting head on, just chant Hare Krishna. And you know, I should not get this. I should not become a victim of it. It's very easy to become a victim of it. I want to remember Krishna. My purpose is to remember Krishna, not to forget him. And these three gates will take me down. So please, I want to make sure that I don't make this mistake of gliding down. This is the point to understand when we say that we should escape. This word is used as escape. I remember I gave this class in ISKCON Rajkot, and in Gujarati, I said, what is the word for this, So they said, Chhatki Jawano. Chatak Jana. Haath mein na aane paaye. You have to catch hold of you. Don't get him to catch. Don't become so elevated that I have controlled this. Then you'll be caught. The moment you say I'm elevated, caught, you are caught, already gone, finished. Haath mein aane ka hi nahi. Like a soap, Actually, this particular verse comes verse before this. He says that those who are envious and mischievous, who are the lowest among men, are cast by me into the ocean of material existence in various demonic species of life. And just one second. Attaining repeated birth and death among the species of demonic life, such persons can never approach me. Gradually they sink down to the most abominable type of existence. So that's why I say that once we go down into these lower planets, it's next to impossible to come out of them. Even here, earthly planets. So the best way is to know who are your enemy. Is it not so? It makes sense. At least we know these are our enemies, right? So when you know these are enemies and you say we can't conquer them, but I have to chant Hare Krishna will help me surrender into this. So focus on Hare Krishna rather than conquering them. The difference between devotees, bhaktas, and the jnanis and yogis is that they want to conquer it. You see? The whole energy is to conquer them. Lust, anger, greed. Whereas a devotee, his whole focus is not upon that. His focus is upon to chant Hare Krishna, let me remembrance of Krishna. So he becomes indifferent to this material world. It's bound to remain. Forget about them. Let me chant Hare Krishna. So there are two ways you can control it. One is by ignoring it. Ignore it. Vladimir Putin is attacking Ukraine. Good for them. Or not good for them. We know there's not one reason for it. America is fighting against it. China and Russia became friends now. Long lost friends. America is fighting again. Then Germany became friends. What? Lust only, greed only, and anger. Why should I worry about them? Spending my time. We learn about them, forget about it. This is how it is. Become indifferent. Prabhuji. Yes, the philosophical answer is that become Krishna conscious, become humble, all those things are there. That's right. Practically speaking, we have to learn to become indifferent to this material world. And everything, as I started my discussion by saying that everything which makes us angry, makes us lusty, makes us greedy, If you allow it to allow it for it to live in our brain, then we are like putting butter in the fire. If you don't allow them, don't worry. सोचने का ही नहीं, problem solved. जो सोचता है वो होता नहीं, जो होता है वो कभी सोचा नहीं, इसके लिए जो होता है वो सोचने लगता है. बस live like that, no problem, forget about it. Chant Hare Krishna and be happy. This is the answer, Samam Bunam. Did I confuse you enough?
No, Prabhuji, I think it's a very good answer. I think it's good actually now. I think Maharaj very correctly said, no? Actually, when you're angry, either you keep silent or you leave the situation.
That's right. Absolutely correct.
So I think, yeah, we just learn to ignore it. Yeah, I think so.
You cannot control this. This is going to happen because this Hanuman, Lord Hanuman, had perfected anger. We have to use them perfectly. Arjuna had perfected anger. That's why he could use it in the service of Krishna. And he killed. He did not kill loving, I love you very much, my grandfather, and killed. He fought killing them, right? Anger. Perfected anger. Hanuman, when Ravana burnt his tail, he burned the whole Lanka, not out of love, out of anger. So he perfected anger in the service of Krishna. So either we perfect it or ignore it. If you are not like Hanuman or Arjuna, if you can use it for Krishna, well and good. If you don't use it for Krishna, if you can't, then it's useless. What is useless means forget about it. Correct? You get this point? Is it more clear?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Mayuresh is in his farm.
I think he was here. I think he's there. Yeah.
He's live. Hare Krishna, Mayuresh.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, you are in your farm now.
Yes. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
No Prabhuji, there is a family function going on.
Okay.
So I am at one of the cultural centers. Yeah. So,
Cultural center, another tree. A very good cultural center you've got, man. Very nice. People in Mumbai and Delhi will be envious of you, man. We don't get to see such kind of things, you know. Very nice.
Sorry Prabhuji, I couldn't attend last week's program, Prabhuji.
Oh, no
I
problem.
was stuck at work, so it wasn't possible to listen to the class.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Just follow Shita Prabhu and Narada Mataji. You are in good hands, you know. Very nice.
Yeah.
It's recorded. You can listen to the class also there, you know, on YouTube.
Yeah, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else wants to say anything?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Prabhuji.
You related Bhagavatam to day-to-day modern life very nicely. Very complicated situation. Material life.
Shri Gurudev ki jai.
So one thing what I understood from the way you were talking to Sridhar Prabhu and before also, chatak jana and ignore karna is actually skill, not a knowledge. So yesterday I was saying the same thing, that we have to learn that skill. We have to practice that skill. Otherwise we all have knowledge, but we don't have skill, so we get confused. I'm talking about myself, yeah.
Actually, Prabhuji, it is a practical application of knowledge, to be honest, you know. It's a practical application of knowledge. Because you have knowledge to say that you cannot conquer them, they are enemies. So better not to fight with them. Use your intelligence. You're going to be defeated. You know, be on the sidelines and run away. When they're not seeing, just go away. Chant Hare Krishna.
So Prabhuji, the one thing I wanted you to clarify, you gave a very nice example of bird flying away as soon as they have wings. So So what about these young children? As soon as they grow, start making money, they leave home?
Good question. That's a good question. If they want to live their own lives, they can go live them. But we are different from the birds. Bird life and human life are very different. Human life is a life of responsibility, and that is the reason why human life has special significance. Because only in human life one can ask the question of why there is life, why am I born, who is God, how to stop the cycle of birth and death, why there is suffering. So these answers human being can answer. Okay. So whether they want to stay with their family, parents, or to independently stay somewhere else, it doesn't matter. As long as they are in the shelter of the senior devotees, senior people, including their parents, for guidance in their life. Otherwise, people who stay together, many times they fight so much that they are mentally away. Rather than to be away and be together mentally. So most important thing is that one is attached and dependent upon their parents, although independent they are. Because ultimately it is their guidance who will help you. Especially the parents who are good parents. We have seen parents who are also very bad parents. That's another thing. Please don't get me wrong. And there's another thing also where the children are bad children. Even the parents are good. So otherwise it works bad. No? Because parents ultimately and the relatives are those friends. When they give advice, what are they giving? Can any youngsters you tell me, please? When your parents, if you have got good parents, I'm sure all of you have got very nice parents, mother or father or uncles and aunties or whoever who are elder to you. And whenever they give you an advice, what are they giving you?
Saṃsāra probably.
Sorry, what are they giving? Muresh, could you repeat again, please?
Samskar.
Samskar. Okay, thank you. Yes. Answer is correct. I'm looking for more specific, more practical things.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, Suchi?
In my opinion, they are sharing their piece of experience.
Yes, that is absolutely right. That's absolutely right. When our parents advise, they are sharing their experience. Now you tell me, when I started the discussion, I made 2 points, right? One of them was, who's the most intelligent person who learns from
others' experiences.
Yes. Now, yes, sometimes experience may differ, I understand, but you can learn from everybody, But what do we do? What do all of us do? Especially when we are youngsters, we think we are too big. What do? We listen to them? No, we don't listen to them. We listen to our own self. We listen to our friends who are our age, who don't have experience. And we listen to them. Wow, what do they know? My mother doesn't come to my classroom. What does she know? My father is old now. He lives in a different age. I live in different age. It's what's called generation gap. Good. Who's at loss? Who's at loss? Tell me who's at loss? The parent or the child?
The child.
The child. Good. I'll tell you an experience for this. You know this. You can never compete with interest. Interest, bank interest, loan interest. You cannot compete with interest. So don't take this kind of loans which you cannot compete. Interest works 24 hours. You work only 8 hours a day. How beautiful is this? How beautiful is? How Avinash को क्या बोलते हैं आप? जबरदस्त है ना, एकदम फर्स्ट क्लास है, फर्स्ट क्लास.
Use it for making money, bro.
Yeah, that's right. That's another thing. I'm telling you, you can't compete with interest. Interest works 24 hours. You work only 8 hours. Huh? Second point. Second thing. With networking, you are working. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. You cannot work alone. You require people to work with you. So with networking, you are working.
So, Prabhuji, then this independence here is the answer of our independence, I feel.
Sorry, I couldn't get that, Suchi.
Here is the answer of our independence, I say.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Now, these instructions are actually given by my father, my friend's father to my friend, and he shared with me, and I remember it. I said, "This is very nice, man." And I told this to uncle. I said, "I remember this instruction. Well, whatever you tell your son, he tells me, and I remember it." For me, it is free knowledge, you know. Is it not so beautiful? And another thing which is so super, he says that, he said in Gujarati, he said, you know, કોઈને જીતવા દેવામાં તમારી હાર નથી. That means if you allow somebody else to win, if somebody else is winning, that doesn't mean you have lost. Out of envy, when somebody is winning, we think we have lost everything. No, we have not lost. He has won it, but it doesn't mean you have lost everything. Foolishness to think like this. These are invaluable instructions, is it not so? Like your parents would be giving so much, you must share. My father has given me so many instructions. I remember it so much. It stays with me. Guru Maharaj, like Guru Maharaj instruction I can give you whole days information about my father's instructions. He says, if you don't ask, you don't get. Simple thing, right? Everybody knows this. If you do not ask, you will not get. So ask. What is the difficulty? Question may be wrong, but if you don't ask, you're not going to get anything. Second, he added to that, it does not cost you anything to ask. So what I do is, whenever I go and buy something, I ask, you know, is it the best price? Can you get lower price and all that thing? And I tell him, listen, my dad told me, if you don't ask, you don't get. So they laugh a lot, you know. And I said, he told me also, it doesn't cost anything to ask. So tell me, what am I saving? Give me a better deal than this. And I always get better deals. He said, my dad said the same thing. You know, I said, yeah, that's right. So that's how it is. But we don't listen to them. And parents, when they give advice, they're sharing their experience. And who's the best well-wisher of ours? Our parents? That friend of ours, I mean, don't get me wrong, they're all good. In need, if we are in need, they say, I'm sorry, I don't have money. I have to run away. They'll run away. If the parents say, I'm running away, they'll say, no problem, son or daughter. This is your house, come and stay. I'll protect you. Who's there? Over my dead body. Right? That's what they say. Hi, Soumya. The mom says this. Right. So for us, they are the best friends. We are not. We all face the same thing. But whenever we learn, as I said, you're very lucky. Prabhupada makes us human beings first. Then devotional service begins. These are human beings. We are not animals. Human being instructions. Yeah? Now, before we move, I want to tell you one more important thing, that very shortly, your tutors, especially those of you who are with us for a long time, 2 years and more, would be speaking to you people as devotees and would be giving us your names. Then we will be having one-on-one interviews separately to this, and would be a small written test. And then once we're convinced, we'll move you to the intermediate program. Well, I believe that those of you who have been with us for a couple of years at least, we have covered significant portion of angles, So I think you're quite ready. I could be wrong, I'm just silly, but still in the sense that I think you're quite ready to understand our sampradaya, and we will be learning other scriptures, which will include our sampradaya scriptures and other Vedic scriptures. This is an intermediate program. So, of course, we're finding out the modalities. As you see, many of us who are seniors are still in a beginner's program. And I'm in beginner's program too. I learn every day. Although you may see I'm giving answers, but actually I'm learning. So I encourage you, all of you, to be participate of everything. So that process will begin now. Those who are with us for a long time. So we'll have our intermediate. Intermediate, we are already using you in WhatsApp group, but it'll be more formalized and structured in this way. Yeah. More questions. Your leaders will answer your questions. Your team leaders. Yeah. Okay. Come back into our point of King Yayāti achieves liberation. Any other thing which you want to share, please?
Yes, Prabhu. I just wanted to continue. Sorry to
Yes.
you. You said about the good parents, those who are giving good instruction, like you just gave examples that how you get discounts wherever you go or bargains. But I have come across people, and particularly young ones, where parents have not been supportive to Krishna conscious activity, and they have to actually hide with their parents to come and do these kind of activities. So what do we should tell them to?
We will do it on a case-by-case basis. I would prefer this on a case-by-case basis answer. Because each case is different,
Yes, but sometimes happen that children learn those things. I'm talking about setting up temples and changing things, how we think and all those things. And people come across this difficulty in the family.
Yes. So yeah, this is practical situation, and we would like to take it on a case-to-case basis, knowing each case background and all that.
Thank you, bro. This is what exactly I want to listen, because this has to be case-to-case basis.
Yes.
And it is a unique situation for everyone, wherever that is situation is. Yeah.
It cannot be a blanket answer for all this, That's why I abstain from this, Thank you. Subhanahu is all right? You're doing well? You're back to normal?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay. Okay. That's good. No
I
more.
was just offering some. That's why I came.
That's okay. That's okay.
Because I'm myself alone, so I had to go and come back.
Yes. Jai.
Hare
Best. Hare Krishna. Yes. Is there any questions from one of our people who are following us on YouTube? If you can write down in the comment section. Hopefully we can read that and answer the question. Okay, no more questions?
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Sushima, you can go first.
Divyanshi Mataji, go on.
Okay, do you want to say?
Yeah. So I had one question, forgive me if it's a little inappropriate or something. But actually, I wanted to ask that, in you said that in if you find situations that are agitating to your senses, avoid those situations as much as possible. And that's really the best advice, right? But now I'm out of college and out of school and everything, so it's a little bit better. But in your school and colleges, especially in these ages, there are a lot of activities that are rampant, and especially with, with respect to illicit sex and, and dating and everything like that. So all of these things are very kind of an assault to your senses, especially when you're growing up. So you kind of said this, that you mentioned a point about that radio person who was talking about people who had started indulging in, sexual activities since the age of 16, 17. I had those people around me in my school. So like that, and because it's Delhi and everyone is so-called modernized and everything. So, in these kind of situations, and in school, you still have a limited amount of freedom. But as you go to college and then you go to job, these things keep increasing. So everyone around you is, no matter how there are very, very few exceptions of cases where people are very good, and so they don't kind of push you forward to these things, or they don't force you in these situations. But a lot of the times, most of the people you will find are like the same, at least myself. Like I find myself in a lot of situations where people around me are just like that. So it's not always possible to kind of avoid those situations, because if I start avoiding a lot, then it'll be like, oh, you're antisocial and you're like this and that.
Yeah.
So how to deal in those situations?
Very good point. Very good point. So how to deal with when surroundings, everything is like this and you don't want to do it, if in an illicit way, in a wrong way, illicit way. How to deal with the situation? The first thing is that if we are convinced we don't want to do this, then we can find ways. If you want to do it, then there is no other way. You're fighting with yourself. I want to do it, but I still want to do it. I don't want to do it, but I want to do it, and all of this. If you don't do it, then we can talk. Right. If you feel you don't want to do this, then the answer is simple. I don't want to do this.
Yes, of course. My question was more inclined towards that. It's just kind of, it gets very irritating or assault to the like senses, like I don't like being in places like this, and then it's like a kind of a difficult situation to kind of maintain social relationships in those cases. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes it gets that way. So with that,
I'll tell you one thing though. Pure character will always stand out. I can tell you that. Pure character, a man or woman, whichever way, will always stand out. And I can tell you one more thing. Everybody wants a pure character. They like pure character. Even if a person is a so-called, constantly flirting and constantly having illicit sex, that person would appreciate a pure character. So I want a pure character person as a partner. So what are you? Partner can say, I also want a pure character person. Are you? No, take a walk. You have to earn it. Yeah, understand this point? And it works. Yeah, there are examples of this where even in a group situation where everybody is doing all this, and if somebody says, no, I'm not going to drink, I don't drink, sorry, thank you, and it stands out. I'm just telling you this as an example to give you more practical answer to this, because you think this was okay in colleges. Wait till the time you start earning money. The same women, the same boys, when they earn money, they think nobody can stop them. They spend wherever they like. So when I don't think this is only with you people. With our age, the same thing was there. I'll give some examples of this. Not that I'm very pure, don't get me wrong. I'm putting this as this thing. No, it's not okay. Just an example just to keep you and put things in perspective, okay? So when we used to be, I used to head a big Organization and Bombay branch. I was like blue-eyed boy of Organization. Very young age, 20 to 24 years old, 25 years old. I was top boss there, taking big decisions. So what happened was that we used to have multiple branches around the country in India. All managers would come to us to Mumbai, and when we do our job meetings are over, we go out, for drinking, for enjoyment. I would not drink. I had my son born at the time, So, but still, they are my mates, they're my friends. They go, I go. I don't drink. So they would go to these dance parties and dance bars, where you see all these movies. Actually, you were surprised. I was surprised. I didn't know, but so then, and they would impress this women. All these women were dancing there, and I would not be. I was just keeping them away. They would get drunk, enter into a fight. Would keep them away. Don't do this. No. So I remember one incident where that night it happened this way. Bouncers came in. And I said, "Oh, don't worry. I'm managing. Okay, don't. It's okay." So we moved them aside, kept them away, and next day, all these managers, they all came to me and they all ganged up on me, against me. So I was pretty ferocious then too, So what do you mean? Said we spend money on these women, this throwing this money and all those things, But they were asking about you. Who's this man? What is his name? You should bring him again and all those things. They're not asking about us. Our money is gone, asking about you. I said, yeah, because you're fools, I told them. This is fact. Many of you do the same thing. So purity will always, always be valuable. And look for it and don't give it away. And tell them, sorry, you're not you. You're not pure. Always a value attached. That's why we say honesty, we are honest. There's a value to be given for that. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji.
You never go wrong.
Yes, I just recently started my internship, right? So there was kind of an introduction session there. So like they had asked a lot of questions like this or that. So that, what do you prefer? And the first question they had was, do you prefer vodka or beer? And I was like, I'm just gonna write milk in the middle and take back that because I don't drink. And they were like, what? And then it became an entire thing. And then we recently met and everyone was doing the same thing. And I found that one person in my entire cluster of 20 people, there's only one person who doesn't drink. So the entire time I was sitting with her and I was like, okay, fine, I'll just sit here. So I find a lot that happening a lot in places like this.
Yes, of course it is. It is. And see, imagine this. In Hindi, in English, they will use English words. Do you drink? Okay. They will not use the word, do you drink daru? Yes or no? Okay. Now, in English, sophisticated word they use, man drinking, so he is man drinking. Girl drinking. In Hindi, they say, when a man drinks, it's called beuda. And a girl drinks, it's called beudi. And tell them, I'll tell them on the face, hey, beudi, hut, don't talk to me. They get so shy. I don't talk to people who are drunkards, Be sober and we'll talk. Now imagine this. Would anyone like to be called beudi? Same. Smoker, beudi, beuda. See how. Similarly, if you veg, English words, very sophisticated. Vegetarian, non-vegetarian. In Hindi, it is not vegetarian, non-vegetarian. In Hindi, it's masahari and shakahari. ये मांस खाता है, जैसे मांस खाता है. Now, मांस is a Sanskrit word which comes from the word mams, ma-amsa. That means my amsa. It's got deeper meaning. Means today I'm eating you, in the next life you will eat me. That's called mams. M-A-M-S-A, mams. So just if a woman says, girl says, why don't you drink? Well, I'm not a beauty like you. Next time she'll stop talking to you. She'll make you enemy. Say, good, forget about it. Otherwise, if you don't want to make an enemy, I said, no, I don't like to be called beauty. Or Beoda, or just don't be. He said, see, what is the use for it? If there's any use, I'll drink. Finish, no problem. You can be sophisticated. You can't be as notorious as me. I could be very tough, very tough customers. You people are just starting your job and business, so you should just be polite. Say, no, I don't want it. I don't want it. One thing is sure, they will respect you if you are confident about what you're doing. Do you drink alcohol? No, I don't drink. Full stop. Okay. What? Fine. She's saint. She's this. Oh, good. No problem. In a funny way, if they say you are saint, then what are they? Right? Same thing. I've done this. But when you grow up in confidence, then you will have the strength to stand for it. And I can tell you one thing. India is right now, is about for 40 years, 50 years from now, are imitating the West. Okay? Now, you will see and you've seen Western people imitating the Indian culture. That's what our Hare Krishna and ISKCON is. That should give you the strength. They were born in alcohol. They were constantly drinking alcohol even as children. They have given up and becoming this. So they are adopting the culture of Vaishnavism, which was born in India. And that's what you are doing. So you should be more confident about it. Remember Beoda, beauty. You'll never do this. You'll never remember. I don't want to be called a beauty or Beoda. Finished. Full stop. No problem. Problem solved. It sounds so bad. But we will use sophisticated language. We will not use the real language. This is the point, This is the thing. Yeah. But be confident. You're not alone. If you're alone, it's even best. You'll shine. Yeah. I'm telling you, they'll appreciate it in the future. I remember I had pointed in this discussion when I was preparing, I knew these kind of points will come. That's why I used what should I do to already shake it up everything. That's why I use the word. I remember I'm going to say about Beoda and Beudi. And I'm repeating it so they will understand. That's right. These people are good people. I'm not saying they become because of alcohol drinking. I said right now they are third grade, but they can go to elevated also. Okay? Is this all right?
Yes, Prabhuji, that's perfect. Even to that extent that, those who are native Hindi speakers, you will know that there's a difference between the word daru and sharab. So daru sounds cool. It's supposed to sound cool, and sharab does not. So even if I use sharab, they'll be like, no, don't call it sharab. Call it daru. That sounds cool. Yeah.
That's right.
They'll be like, yes.
That's right. But that's absolutely right. Even when I was in India, and I used to work for Z, and then for in-network, they would say, let's go for daru. It was a sophisticated word. Let's go for daru. Daru hai? I think daru. Everybody's talking about daru. CEOs, everyone is daru. I was the only one not drinking daru. But I tell you, even my son doesn't drink. He goes to parties. He's living in New Zealand. Everyone is alcoholic. So I don't drink daru. Thank you very much. They appreciate it. No problem. But if you are timid, they'll pounce on you. Don't be timid. Become lion and lionesses. Well, if you're walking with Hare Krishna-WECAN with us, you prefer learn to walk alone. No problem. Chant Hare Krishna and be happy. We are not sheeps. We are fighting against a trend. And India has to change back because underneath it, there is purity. Underneath there is purity. It will come. And we are a catalyst. We will do it. We will do it. Sorry, I use some very harsh words in front of everybody. I don't do such things for ladies. But I thought about it, as I said. I said, I'm going to use this so it'll give you strength, and see how bad it sounds, man. Hey, Jai, what do you think? Beoda Beodi is a good word? Drunkard is okay. English drunkard is drunkard. He got drunk. He got drunk, nahi, Beoda ho gaya ho. I don't call him Beoda. Rascals. Foolish people.
You'll get jealous people when you actually like that, Prabhuji.
Yeah, that's right. You'll get jealous. So I wish I
experienced, We're actually traveling, Prabhuji, actually, whenever you put your meal request, Jain only without onion garlic.
Yes.
So I experienced this actually every time when they start to serve the lunch or whatever dinner. First, they come and serve you in front of everyone. And actually, I seen the person sitting next to me has actually got jealous and I say, why is getting first all the time? And same thing happened.
In the plane, right? In the plane.
Yes. And at the conference, actually, when I went to the conference to Australia, because I know I remember discussing with you and I put my request. So every time, anywhere you go, the dinners and all that, they actually keep your meal labeled and separately. And they tell everyone not to touch this. And some people say, why can I get that? Why is only one is getting that? So, yeah, you stand up, Guruji, as you said, you stand out.
Jai. See, perfect example. That's it. This is it. I don't eat. If you're confident, they will respect you. World is full of sheeps. They all need directions. You require only one leader. If the leader also does like sheeps, he's no longer a leader. You all are leaders. Be confident about it. And don't worry. Krishna has got nice arrangement for your future plans also. Don't think, who will be my husband, who will be my wife. Don't worry about it. They'll fit nicely. Don't worry. We chant Hare Krishna. No problem. Be happy. Well done. So someone was saying something.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Hari Bol.
Yeah, so I was just thinking that this happens in your work all the time. It's not only about drinking, it's about eating, as Prabhuji mentioned, eating non-vegetarian or not eating. And as Prabhuji rightly said, you have to be confident. So you will be asked, oh, you can't eat? So this is a question, So how you answer it is very important. You say, no, it's a personal choice. And that makes a difference, how you answer the question. But just wanted to put it in context that, this situation will happen at your work, it will happen with your friends, it will happen everywhere. And I'm saying this from how I'm observing Krishna-Das also. So when you're going at work, what is the most important thing that defines you? It's your work that defines you, right? Everything else is secondary to that. So if you are going to do your work in such a way that people will respect you, automatically everything else will follow. The respect will follow for everything that you're doing. So I think that is really important, like by practical experience, my personal experience, and I'm saying even from everyone around us. I can see even Krishna-Das, because for him, it's he's going in, he's being with friends who are outside of Krishna consciousness, and he's with friends who are Krishna conscious also. And everywhere there are challenges. But the best part about him is, I told him, that you have to be yourself. And the place where you can be yourself is actually where you have, when you're in a friend circle. And he's very good with the people who are within Krishna consciousness also. And, there are other friends who are not. And they all respect him for not drinking, because they have this 21st birthday parties almost every second day, not because of COVID now, but before. Or at work, you have to go as well. As far as you respect your decision and what you're doing, and you communicate that, then it's fine. But I think in your work, if you are going and you're doing your work properly, then everything else follows. So that's the key to it. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, may I say something?
Yes, Kanchan, Hare Krishna. Feel free.
Just to add on to the point that Mataji has said, there are certain times and moments you are not actually invited into such a parties. Like I have noticed in my hospital, they have doctors party every now and then. So gradually when they learn about you, they politely, like you don't have to be polite and reject their offer. They politely just say, ma'am, it's not your kind of a party, so we will be going. I'm like, thanks, that's the best thing that you're, giving me, because rejecting from my end would have been little,
Very
not
nice.
obnoxious, but little rude.
Very nice. It's best. And as I said, everybody wants good people. Every Ravan wants a Sita. All the Mandodari was as good. You know? This is the same way. And every Shuparnaka wants a Ram. Remember this. So they have to be qualified. Turn giving. Purity, chastity is very, very important. You'll see. You'll stand out. You'll be like, amongst all this darkness, you glow. You'll be like a big glowworm, attracting people. So, so many examples. I mean, more of you can say as well, Everyone has got his examples of it.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. With regards to what Kanchan Mataji has said, this happens with me also, that sometimes this all partying and all non-veg eating and this happens and they say that it's not your party, it's not a saintly party, Memory. Yes, it's okay. I will not come, I'll be happy not coming.
Yes, best.
This happens. Yes, this happens. And these days, even I don't prefer going to these all things, because uh, seeing also creates something like I really don't feel very good and in a very pure atmosphere. I really don't feel very connective. So
Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes,
Yes, so to add on to what everyone has said now, so yes, it happens that people do not invite you to such kind of parties, which is a blessing actually. And I think what also happens that with a few friends that you have, if they're actually really good friends of yours and they, you are kind of with them, so they change those parties. Like instead of going out for drinking, they'll just अच्छा ठीक है खाना खाने चल लेते हैं कोई नहीं तू तो आएगी नहीं यहाँ पे ऐसे तू तो आती नहीं है तो फिर खाने के लिए चल लेते हैं. And then certain things like now my mom, my family, everyone has non-veg, but I don't have non-veg. So my mom initially she had a very very big problem with it. So that's another story. But now when I go home, so whenever I go home or if she comes to visit me, I'm like, तुमको तो non-veg खाना है, and she's like, नहीं तुम आई हो अब रहने तो अब तो बस अभी तो तुम आई हुई हो तो तुम क्या अलग क्या होगा, we'll all have something veg only. So whenever I go home or she comes to visit me, so उस time everyone has veg food only, and even with my friends who have non-veg, they're like, अरे अभी तो तू भी है तो veg खाएगी तो हम सब भी veg ही खा लेते हैं. So that happens.
And Prabhuji, one more thing is there in my native friend circle. They were not. They used to eat onion and garlic and all thing. But since I don't eat, they also don't eat. And certainly, one of my friend has completely left onion and garlic. One of my best friend has left that. And one used to eat egg, and she's now becoming. I'll not eat egg also, because I used to say things like I left all this eating and then I feel this way and that. Used to say all this, my personal experience I used to share to them, and they were so happy with all these things. So they were certainly like, we'll also try not eating.
Yes, nice.
So this happens.
Very nice. Very nice. See,
And I really believe that personal experience change people. If I just be theoretical about things, then that might not impact other person. But if I am also getting benefited from that, and I'll share this experience to them, they'll also get benefited, and I really feel happy about this thing.
Correct, very correct. Very correct, very nice.
Yes,
Very
thank
nice.
you.
You become the change, you know. That's good. That's good. As you will become more experienced, you'll say, "Don't become close to me, man. You'll also become vegetarian." I tell this to everyone. You want to be vegetarian? Come with me. No, I'm okay. No. Said you want to be womanize? Don't come with me. Now you won't be like me. You will not be like yourself.
Alright.
No, they will like you. So who was saying something? Please feel free.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I noticed boys not saying anything, only girls talking.
Yes, I don't know where the boy is. Parth is pushing in action. He's not even showing his face. Mukunda is quiet.
No, Parth is traveling actually, Prabhu.
Oh, he's traveling. Okay.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
So, yeah, Mukunda, yes, carry on, Mukunda, yes.
Yes, Prabhuji, what is love?
We were talking about daru.
Oh.
नहीं पीना चाहिए. मांस खाना चाहिए नहीं खाना चाहिए.
Oh. Actually, मैं पहले एक सेकेंड. यस प्रभुजी, मैंने पहले जब दारू छोड़ा था तो मुझे ऐसा बड़ा प्राउड हो रहा था कि अरे छोड़ दिए. और मतलब हम लोग 1-2 वीक पहले डिस्कस कर रहे थे ना कि हरिनाम करने के बाद भी मैं 4 नियम का पालन नहीं करता था. तो बट पता नहीं कि मुझे आता ही नहीं था. मतलब वो पहले जो दारू पीने में जैसे अच्छा लगता था, बट वो नहीं लगता था क्योंकि हरिनाम इस ज्यादा मोर हायर लगता था. तो फिर वो ऑटोमेटिकली चले गई. किसी ने मुझे फोर्स नहीं किया या पर्सनली कभी मुझे किसी ने नहीं कहा कि आपको ये करना है, बट वो चले गया, अपने आप छूट गया वो. और यस प्रभु जी.
Nice, very nice.
बट मैंने उसमें प्राउड नहीं किया क्योंकि मैंने एक बार देखा कि श्रीला प्रभुपाद से यही एक जन ने कहा कि प्रभुपाद मैं तो पूरा वेजिटेरियन हो गया हूँ, मैं तो ये हो गया. तो प्रभुपाद ने कहा अरे व्हाई यू आर प्राउड अबाउट इट, कबूतर भी वही है. सो मोर प्रभुपाद सेड कि आपको ज्यादा कंसंट्रेशन इस पे नहीं करना है कि आपने क्या छोड़ा, क्या ऑस्टेरिटीज परफॉर्म करी. कृष्णा को वो नहीं चाहिए. कृष्णा वांट्स कि आप उनसे कितना क्लोज है, एंड द सिंसियरिटी टुवर्ड्स योर डिवोशनल सर्विस इज मोर इम्पोर्टेंट. इफ यू आर वियरिंग तिलक एंड पुटिंग कंठीज और ठीक है मैंने 4 नियम का पालन कर लिया तो नाउ कृष्णा विल बी हैप्पी. नो, यू आर नॉट. एवरीथिंग स्टार्ट्स विद द ह्यूमिलिटी. आपने छोड़ा. प्रभुपाद वांट्स कि आप पहले ये सब जो कलयुग जहाँ पे है ये सिंफुल चीजें छोड़ो, तब जाके आप डिवोशनल लाइफ की चीजें कर पाओगे. आप एक जगह पी रहे हो और फिर बड़ी बड़ी बातें कर रहे हो, दैट्स नॉट करेक्ट वे. और शायद आप इंटरमीडिएट क्लास में आप वो निर्वर्तते जो आप भेज रहे हैं 10.1.4 श्रीमद् भागवतम का, दैट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. वो भागवतम का जो श्लोक है कि if you have a material desires in your heart, then and if you are doing lots of bad things, then आप भागवत गीता और इस पे बात करना it's nonsense. So we must be very, so more important for me is the devotional service. So yes.
Yes, if you remember Krishna, if he reminds you Krishna, it is best. So
Yes.
at some point in time with the best friend, say, why do you do it? Because I love Krishna. Full stop. That's wow. But you can't tell this to everybody. You can tell this to some people. Grade them.
और मैं उसमें ये भी नहीं डिफरेंशिएट नहीं करता. जैसे कोई दोस्त है तो मेरे को दोस्त छोड़ना मेरे को बिल्कुल, मैं बहुत क्लियर हो गया था कि देयर इज नथिंग इन बिटवीन. जब मुझे देख के मैं इतना बिता के सीख लिया हूँ तो मुझे लगा कि नहीं यार, या तो दोस्त छोड़ो या तो कृष्ण को पकड़ो. तो सीधे दोस्त छोड़ो. कोई बीच वाला कोई काम ही नहीं है कि मैं जा रहा हूँ पार्टी में. तो बिल्कुल मैं नहीं बोलने में बिल्कुल भी नहीं कतरा था. मुझे लगता है यार नहीं बोल के लोगों का दिल तोड़ देना, लेकिन कृष्ण का दिल मत तोड़ना. और जैसा कि आपने कहा कि हरे कृष्णा वीकेंड आपको सिखा रहा है कि अलग कैसे चलना है.
Yes.
ये बहुत हार्ड है, क्योंकि जब आपके पेरेंट्स अगेंस्ट हो, आपके दोस्त अगेंस्ट हो, वो आपको हरे कृष्णा वीकेंड क्लास तक ना अटेंड करने के लिए मना करते हो, तो फिर बहुत हार्ड होता है। वहां पूरी फिलोसॉफी साइड में चले जाती है और फिर सिर्फ एंगर ही दिखता है कि क्या बोले क्या बोले। और मुझे लगता है, बट फिर मैं वही सोचता हूँ कि आपने एक बात कही थी कि जो पेशेंस होता है वो अनलिमिटेड होता है। आप ये नहीं सोच सकते कि मैं बस 10 बार ही मुझे पेशेंस रखना था और 11वें बार तो मैं बस वो कर दूंगा। नो, यू कैन नॉट बी लाइक दैट। तो आपने कहा था अनलिमिटेड यू हैव टू, तो फिर वहां बस मैं यही सोचता हूँ कि यार अभी अमान ही ना मान देना, जस्ट गो अहेड, आप अपना ट्रैक से हिलो मत और आप बस डिवोटीज की धोती पकड़े रखो और आप चले जाओगे, यू नो।
Nice.
थोड़ा हार्ड है। So, yes.
No, it is best. It is best. Best. See, we are very firm. We don't fight with people, but we don't change for people. It's a different thing.
Yes, Guruji.
Yeah. हम किसी झगड़ा नहीं करते पर हम चेंज भी नहीं होते। Very, very different kind of people, you know. हमारे साथ, you come with me, come with us, and you become a different breed, you know. Specialized human breed. So we don't fight, but we don't change. Thank you. Yeah, that's it. Very nice.
और एक बार मैं पार्थ प्रभु से बात कर रहा था, तो मैंने एक्चुअली मैं प्रोडक्ट एनालिसिस देखता हूँ, तो मैंने एक बार इनसे कहा कि यार हम लोग ऐसी एक बियर के ब्रांड के बारे में बात कर रहे थे, तो मैंने कहा यार उसमें तो सब चीजें गेहूं और मेरा अनाज का काम है, तो मैंने कहा गेहूं और ये मक्का साड़ा के तो बनता है, तो इसमें मेलो कहाँ से आता है? तो पार्थ प्रभु सेड मी यार दैट्स द रियली गुड क्वेश्चन, मेलो कहाँ से आता है, कि लोगों को मेलो कहाँ से मिल रहा है जब वो इतनी ऐसी खराब चीज है। सो यू नो इतने हार्ड केमिकल्स डलते हैं, तो एक मतलब ऐसा लगता है मुझे यार कि मतलब मुझे कॉमन सेंस भी नहीं था वो पहले पीने के पहले। दैट्स माय प्रॉब्लम। प्रॉब्लम ये नहीं है कि क्या क्या काय से बनता है वाइन, ये सब तो गलत है ना, ये तो गलत, इनको तो इतना गंदे तरीके से बनाते हैं, तो ये सब बेवकूफी है। इसलिए मुझे लगता है कि लोगों को बिना कृष्ण कॉन्शियसनेस के भी वो छोड़ देनी चाहिए। उसमें हम बोल रहे हैं तो उनको थोड़ा मिर्ची लगता है, अरे तुम हरे कृष्णा हरे रामा वाले बोल रहे हो, तो उनको थोड़ा सा मिर्ची लगता है, वो हमको भगा देते हैं, लेकिन उनको लगता है तुम थोड़ा कॉमन सेंस लगाओ तो छोड़ दोगे। मैगी में वो मैगी में ग्लूटेन आया था तो पूरा इंडिया छोड़ दिया था उसको, तो ये नहीं छोड़ सकते हो, ऐसा है।
Nice, nice, nice. That's good. That's good.
Yes, Prabhu. I was going to say before Mukunda started saying, thank you, Mukunda, for sharing your practical realization, real life experiences. So, what Punyavagna Mataji realized and shared, I think all the young ones will pick up a lot of things, the strength, the character, standing out. And one good thing which happens when you stand out, you attract like-minded people. And you actually, Krishna makes arrangement that you find those kind of people. I remember my days when I was everywhere, and I don't know how I came in contact with Ambrish Prabhu. And yes, what I'm saying that everywhere you start attracting people, that's other side effect, which is actually a positive side effect. It happens.
Absolutely right, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. And all these people who drink and also, they're also like you. He's a better man. Oh God, Hare Krishna. Nice,
Oh,
nice.
you don't
Hare
drink.
Krishna, Prabhu.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh.
Yes, Mayuresh.
Yeah. I have experienced the same thing also, Prabhu. When I was in New Zealand, like with my work team and everyone, we used to go to parties and everything. So they used to force me to drink. But as you said, Prabhuji, I used to say them that you go ahead, but I will not change. Like I used to tell them that I don't drink and it's my personal choice. But yeah, they after few days they started respecting the choices I made. So you know they actually started respecting that, and it became more easy. And as you said that people get attracted. So everyone was very nice to me at work. So I like because of these choices, Prabhuji. And one more thing I want to share is that in Jainism, Prabhuji, there are these sannyasis. You know about it, right? We call them Maharaj. So they came to our home for food. So they actually they don't cook or anything. They actually eat whatever was given by people. So they came to our house. They had nice food and everything, and they started giving the instructions and everything. So they gave a really nice example about how we should be in the samsara, like in the material world. So they gave example of this lotus flower. So everyone should be like a lotus. Like they grow from the water. Like they are always in the water, but they don't let. But the flower is not wet. Like it is a water repellent.
Yes.
So you have to be like, as you said, Prabhuji, you have to be indifferent from the material world, that the samsara. So we should be like a lotus flower. You grow in the water, but you don't let it touch you. So, yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. Yes. Lotus flower. Now slowly I will also introduce our different kirtans, in the program, which I'm going to do. So lotus flower has got one very important point, that the water on the lotus and the lotus leaves, it will remain, it will not absorb.
Yeah, it's water repellent, Prabhuji.
That's right. It will not absorb it. So that's how we should become like lotuses. In kachra, lotus always grows in not very good water, So still it is pure. And Krishna's garlands are made with lotuses, not with roses. Different kind of lotuses. And that's why the bumblebees and honeybees are constantly with him, Yes. Very nice. Very nice. Okay, I think we went over time. People are sharing that. Krishna, want to say something?
I was just going to say that we were all talking about, that it's a struggle to, not drink and all that stuff. But it's actually a bit of an advantage, because if you go out to a party and you're the only one not drinking, then they'll ask you to drive you home. Everyone will ask for them to take care of you. So that's kind of become my job as well. So it's a bit of an advantage, you need someone to not drink and someone to not, do that. So yeah, it's pretty fun.
Yeah, that's when my friend used to go out for drinking and eating, one person would not drink. He would be the driver. He would have a count, this thing with it, I thought you were going to say, and the same person then next day morning, he knows everyone's secret. That's another advantage, You know everyone's secret in your pocket. What did I say last night, So no, it's okay.
Especially if you're with the camera, Prabhuji.
You recorded something,
Yeah, for the pay rise.
I'll use it at the right moment, right time. Very nice. I think it was a good point. We spent quite a bit of time on this practical aspect of following the Vaishnava principles in daily life. So I think we understood this thoroughly. And the main important thing is that if we are confident, people will appreciate that confidence and they'll respect you for this, And just to conclude with today's point on Yayāti's liberation, that ultimately, whether you want to enjoy materially and then go for Krishna consciousness, that is a third class way. Or that if I do this thing wrong, then my path to Krishna consciousness will be obstructed. So don't do it. That's the next point, And we also realize that in this world, everybody wants purity. Ravan also wants purity. Even amongst your peers, the drunkards, men also would like a girl who's not drinking. And among all the drunken girls, they like a man who's not drinking. So you have a choice to say, I will choose, I also have my choices. Yeah. So, and these words, if you say purity, chastity, people will not understand this, but you know the heaviness of it. It can be seen it, you know. So we discuss also that we are making leaders, and leaders are not followers. Yes, they follow other leaders. That's right, but they do not follow our followers. If they do not follow followers, if you follow followers, you become a follower. If you follow a leader, you become a leader. So these are some very big fundamentals. We also discussed about how elders, we can learn from the elders when they give instructions, what it means. We also discussed about King Yayāti realizing his own points, and how goat example, and how human beings also are trying to become goat with the goatee beard. So yeah, if you have any further questions or anything to share, please feel free. I can wait for a few more seconds here. You can ask a question. Otherwise, you can talk to your leaders or talk to us later on. No problem. I'll wait for a few more seconds here if you want to share something, or say something before we finish.
Prabhuji, just one point actually. Means everybody share their experiences with actually, you know,
Yes.
the alcohol and not eating meat and giving up all those things. So all these things means actually, to my surprise, Prabhuji, actually when I went to the same process of giving up things, and when it started chanting, you know, you told just add Krishna at the time, and actually means I was in the alcohol field at work, and I thought, and I was actually had really bad feeling about how I'm gonna give up all this. And actually, when I started chanting, to my surprise, it become very easier to give up these things. And it's one of the actually hardest things to give up, like smoking and all that, you know. Actually, there are rehabilitation centers, you know, government spent, you know, billions of dollars to give these things up. But here, actually, what I really acknowledged is that actually the power of, you know, holy name. When you chant, these things just go away. And Prabhupada rightly said, no, these, you know, world don't need this rehabilitation center, they need Krishna consciousness. And that is actually means everybody's realizing. And actually, when people, that's what actually, when you preach, actually, when they ask you, you know, why you gave up and how you gave up, actually, you can share the stories, you know, so that will actually attract people again.
Yes, nice. That's absolutely correct. Absolutely right. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
Just one point that I'd like to mention. I don't remember the line that you said. You said something that endeavors to satisfy the lusty desires can't be eradicated by trying. I don't remember the phrasing of the sentence, but basically you can't get rid of the material desires by catering to them. So and then you mentioned the point that Maharaj Yayāti, after 1,000 years of indulging in lusty activities, then he decided that even now it's not satisfied, so it's better to let them go. And I was thinking that we don't have 1,000 years to experiment with this. You know, we have very short lives, so we have to realize that from his experience that it's not going to help. That no amount of trying to indulging in these activities is ever going to satisfy us. So yeah, I think that Hare Krishna.
Yes, nice. Absolutely. We learn from others' experiences.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Sushi.
Lusty activities cannot be only given the name of sexual intercourse.
No.
It could also be indulging in eat, like being a great foodie and enjoying good meals, opulent meals, or having good dresses, having good aesthetic values around you.
Yes.
So, as you mentioned that the bird who develops the wing immediately escapes the nest. So I believe that still the process of developing the wing is far away from me, because I'm really in the not sexually, but still he cannot immediately cut off everything.
Material things. Yeah.
So then, like as you mentioned also, that chanting and at least thinking about cutting off things in a procedural manner could be great for us, like we are young people. So is this correct? Like,
sorry, what is correct? You said,
like
everyone
giving
is, don't think that we have conquered any amount of material association. Don't think. I've never said that I've conquered it. Lust, as you correctly said, is a full definition where anything which makes you have it more and more and more and more, and it's going to be suffering. That's how it is. People die because of overeating also. People die for alcoholism. People die for so many things, smoking and all. Or one's attachment for one's family, one's attachment for one's own lineage, one's caste. Everything is all those things. Lust is a very broad definition.
Right.
And it's a lifelong process. Yeah. And I certainly have not covered it.
Right. But Prabhuji, as Devanshi Mataji said, that we don't have 1,000-year like King Yayāti. Then what should we do? Like following that proper procedure of
Very
chanting?
good. First thing is association. The right association is very important thing. Okay. Keep associating with the right kind of devotees and people whom you feel inspired with. And second thing is follow the process, that is of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And then with it, we must also study Srila Prabhupada's the scriptures, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhāgavatam. But don't jump there. We're training here in a step-by-step manner. And we have to implement it in our lives. Most important thing is to implement it in our life and see if our life is aligning with this or not. What you people are now you not even realize this point is that if you listen to Katha, a lot of people give Kathas, Bhagavad Katha, So we can also describe it as Yayāti Katha, Saṃsāra-cakra Katha. But in all that, we're trying to see what have we learned and is our life in tune with these scriptures or not. That will develop devotional service.
Correct.
That is the three processes of devotional service. First is three processes involved in devotional service. First is of hearing. That's what we are doing right now, hearing. Okay. Second, whatever we hear, we must study ourselves. Shravanam supathan. And third is vicharana paro. Means one should think over it. What I've heard, what I've studied, they are correct or not? And yes, if it is correct, then is my behavior in line with what I'm studying or not? If it is done, then that is how we change our behavior, and that is devotional service. Devotional service starts with that process immediately. It turbo starts it when we start to change our behavior. Most of the devotees, they don't do the third point. They listen, and that's it. They stop at that. We say you listen, you study. Some of them, they study themselves also. But a third point, to analyze whether my behavior is according to what I'm studying and hearing, that is the most important thing. Otherwise, people just give good bhashan, but they've got bad habits themselves. They're themselves lusty. So you are right. We have a long way to go. I have a long way to go, but at least we know where we are going. So association is first, chanting, studying, and thinking over it, whether our behavior is going or not. This is how we will progress in our devotional service.
Right. Thank you. Thank you.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Right. Anyone wants to say anything else? So that we finish this discussion then?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Pad, Hari Bol. Continue. Hare Krishna.
Am I audible, Prabhu, without any disturbance? That is.
You're perfect.
Yeah. So just a small realization. I won't take much of everybody's time, but I listened to the entire class, and just one thing that leaving meat and alcohol, it's all good and dandy. But these days, what they have started doing is they've introduced new things like non-alcoholic beverages or meatless meat. So these things are popping up in the market. When you especially have a social circle. So if you like, okay, you don't drink alcohol, okay, no problem. Drink this alcohol less beer. So they try to entice you into such things, but what has helped me, and I think it may benefit people here, is if you focus on the principle of Krishna consciousness, attaching yourself to Krishna, and like uh, so on these principles, then no matter what the world throws at you, because we are in Kali Yuga, and it will even become worse and worse, and more things will come. So I think what can help you is focusing on the basic principles of Krishna consciousness, and and attaching yourself to Krishna, and not focus on detaching yourself from the world. So yeah, that is what I wanted to say. Thank you.
You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. But I'll tell you one thing, even in ISKCON as a society, you'll be surprised to know that people drink 7-Up and Sprite and all that. They say there's no this thing in it, like Coke and all. That's right,
Yes, Prabhu, yes.
but we don't drink it. In Hare Krishna weekend, we don't drink. Is that also? I'm not saying you should stop drinking now. Those are the beginners program. Don't worry about that. You can have that Sprite and 7-Up and all. You can take a shower in it if you want to. Don't worry. That's all right. But as we progress, slowly it will come. Right now, you're on honeymoon with us. So enjoy yourselves. People in ISKCON, they have chocolate. Very nicely. Yes, that's right. I'm not saying you should stop now. Don't worry. Just have it now. As you progress, we'll discuss it separately. So we are quite different from many of these very big, strong devotees. All right? So you'll be very surprised. If you think they do it, why can't I do it? No problem. You can do whatever you want to do. I think if I did anything more, you people will be very disturbed. Mahesh, want to say something?
Yeah, Prabhu. On the what Parth Prabhu said, like this alcohol-less beers and alcohol-less other like drinks and all, even the meatless meat they call it. But even there is no meat or there is no alcohol in it. I thought about it because I came across all these products because I have studied this food technology, so I have worked on those products as well. But it's still the same gratification. You have that hankering to eat meat, but because of some medical reasons or some reason, you still want to enjoy that flavor. And, you still want to sense gratify your tongue. So
Yes.
so that's not really not really a way to give up the alcohol or give up meat.
Yeah.
You're still gratifying your senses too. Yeah.
But I'll tell you one thing though. This has come, the non-meat products. They come from Asian countries. In India, I do not
Yes,
know.
Prabhu. Yeah.
In New Zealand, when I know, there's so many devotees. They eat chicken, which I have eaten, but non-chicken. It is soya product. It's soya, made up of full soya. Then similarly, they've got pork also, and they've got also this, beef. Oh, beef. I said, no, this is not vegetarian. This beef and all. I said, no, don't touch it. Give it away, But devotees who are non-Indians. Okay, those who are from China, from Hong Kong, from Indonesia, all those, they rely upon these kind of products in their normal meal. So there are full businesses, shops here in New Zealand also and around the world, which specialize in vegetarian meat. Okay, so ask me, I would say don't offer to Krishna. Okay? You want to eat it, that's okay. You are non-meat products, which are non-meat animal products. Those who are living in India, you're not exposed to these things. So best for you. Don't worry about it. Okay. So again, secondly, those alcohol, which is non-alcohol, our philosophy is we don't drink fizz. Even in our temples, they have got fizz. I don't know what. This now they see me, they stop away. It's not for you, you know. What are you guys doing, you know? And so we were asking the temple, what is this ridiculous, you know? But we don't have those fizz. So, but again, fizz is different to that of, you know, what do you call it? That cocaine, caffeine. Because Coke and Thumbs Up and all those things have got caffeine inside in it. Yeah, so the fizz and all like 7-Up and Sprite doesn't have that. So all the devotees, you go to ISKCON temples, they carry in summer bottles, 2-liter bottle of Sprite and walk Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Rama, and they have it. No problem. We do not criticize them. We don't worry about them. We don't have it. Full stop. Okay. As far as this meat and all are concerned, which is not with the vegetarian meat, if you want to have it, up to you. Don't want to have it, up to you. No problem at all. If you're not exposed to it, don't get exposed. If you're not exposed, no problem. Up to you. No issues. But do not offer to Krishna. That's one thing you must do. If you're having this vegetarian meat, don't say, hey, Krishna ate this. Guru Maharaj will not accept this. Maharaj will come and beat me up. So eat quietly in a corner, you know, without doing anything. And yeah. Is this okay? I think I've become more liberal nowadays. Okay, anyone wants to say anything? We'll wait for 10 more seconds and then we'll finish. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. So we'll finish our discussion today and we'll sing Maharaj, Maharaj, please hear us now. Whose time is it today? Who's going to sing? Whose turn is it? Is it Subhadra's turn? Yeah? Okay, put it on, turn it on. Very nice. Start now, Subhadra. 1, 2, 3.
Maharaj, Maharaj, please hear us. Maharaj, please hear us. We have learned some real good stuff. We have learned some real good stuff. Maharaj, we have learned one thing. Maharaj, we have learned one thing. And today for you we will sing. And today for you we will sing. If our room is clean, if our room is clean, then our mind is clean, then our mind is. If our mind is clean, if our mind is clean, we can do anything. We can do anything. If our room is dirty, if our room is dirty, then so are we. Then so are we. If we are dirty, if we are dirty, we're not happy. We are not happy. Wasting time. Wasting time is the greatest crime. It's the greatest crime. Because wasted time. Because wasted time means a wasted mind. Means the wasted mind. So best is your time. So best is your time. When in your prime. When you're in your prime. In your whole life. And your whole life will be sublime. Will be sublime. If your wealth is gone. If your wealth is gone. Then there is nothing wrong. Then there is nothing wrong. If your health is gone. But if your health is gone. That's a different song. That's a different song. If your characters die. If your character dies. Then the world will cry. Only sadly behavior. Only sadly behavior. That's a vanity pride. That's a vanity pride. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We must always remember Krishna. We must always remember Krishna. And never forget him too. And never forget him too. But how are we to practice this with so many things to do? But how are we to practice this with so many things to do? That is the greatest question. That is the greatest question. And here's the greatest clue. And here is the greatest clue. You must learn to look so nicely that Krishna remembers you. You must learn to look so nicely that Krishna remembers you. So listen very closely. So listen very closely. And make your thinking sharp. And make your thinking sharp. Let's learn how we can live in works of Krishna won't depart. Let's learn how we can live in works of Krishna won't depart. If something gives tomorrow. If something gives you tomorrow. Finish it today. Finish it today. Whatever's due today. Whatever's due today. Do it now, don't delay. Do it now, don't delay. Your friends might be lazy. Your friends might be lazy. Or doing bad things. Or doing bad things. But you think again. But you think again. Don't follow them. Don't follow them. And you will win the end. And you will win the end. Whatever we are given, do very fast. We do very fast. We only live with what we need and give Krishna the rest. We only live with what we need and give Krishna the rest. This is such a day. You are trying to play. See Krishna every day. This is such a day. You are trying to play. If you want to live this way, see Krishna every day. We'll take us up above. We'll sing it down to the full of love. And when your time is up, take us up above. We'll sing it down to him with the heart full of love. Shining Krishna's name, glory and fame. The only answer ever we can sing. With Jai Krishna's name, His glory and His fame is the only way this world can ever become same. Now please ask this greatest question. Now please ask this greatest question. And for this greatest clue. And for this greatest clue. You can only remember Krishna. You can only remember Krishna. If Krishna remembers you. If Krishna remembers you. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Jai His Holiness Srila Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj Srila Gurudev ki Jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Shri Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Chandra Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Vistaya Bhutale Shrimati Mahavishnu Goswami Namine. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Vistaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Prasayana Nirvishesha Shunnavari Prasada Starini. Jai Hare Krishna. So with this we finish our discussion today. We see you next week. Krishna willing, same place, same time. Till then, chant Hare Krishna and be happy. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Babaji.
Hare Bol. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.